The immediate purpose of today's conversation and topic is, do I agree or disagree with tipping in America being mandatorily expected? I disagree with this. I do not think that tipping in America should be mandated. I do believe that it should be an option. I do think that tipping should be based off of what type of service you provide. Whether it be good or bad, you should not receive the same tip. According to Nina Mass, 65% of Americans do also agree with this, that tipping should not be this big in America. The FLSA states that over 70% of waiters and waitresses are women, and often in workplaces in the food industry, including Hooters and Twin Peaks, these women are often overly sexualized. They have to appear a certain way and provide a sex appeal in order to gain these tips, and in order to make higher tips to supplement the income that they're not making federally. According to Nina Mass, again, Nina Mass of the Pew Research Center, most Americans they don't bring home enough. They're never gonna bring home enough in the service industry and in the food industry. They're never gonna bring home enough without tips. So it forces them into acting, basically portraying a certain way in order to gain those tips. A lot of people go into these jobs and in this industry, and they're very, very, very overly sexualized, which has caused a rise in sexual harassment cases in the food industry in America in the last 30 years. My mom was a waitress for 10 plus years, so I did personally experience this. Whether her services were good or bad that she provided, there were often times where she would come home and we couldn't put food on the table, there were times we couldn't buy school uniforms, a lot of stuff we couldn't do due to it being a bad week at work because she did not receive enough tips. So I did personally experience this growing up. I don't believe in the tipping culture in America because of the negative origination. From one, keeping something that came from something so negative should not even be a question. It should have been abolished a long time ago. They only keep the tipping culture alive in America because they don't want to pay equally. They don't want to provide equal pay to every industry in this country, which is why tipping is such a big part of this country. If you go to other countries, the tipping culture is not this high. It's not this big of a topic. They don't worry about tipping like we do because they don't supplement people the same way that our government does. Equal pay in America has been a problem for a very, 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 very long time. And the tipping culture that we provide here is just further propelling the situation.